I love animals. I love animals. I love learning about animals, studying their behavior. I shouldn't say study. I don't do shit. I just watch them do shit. Um, but I love animals. And one of my favorite animals are or is, I don't know grammar. I don't know English. Black bears. Black bears. I love black bears. Now, bears, when you think of bears, you think of like grizzly bears, polar bears. Those are terrifying. And while black bears do have the capacity to kill, they're a lot chiller. I don't know if that's the right word, but they're cooler. They're cooler. So these bears are, omnivores, meaning they eat, um, I think fish mostly, fish and berries. Now, any animal that eats berries is okay in my book because I love berries. But not only that, but they're smaller, they're cuter. Um, I like the coat, the black bear coat better. And, they're good at climbing trees. I love that. I love bears that are capable of doing multiple things. When you think of grizzly bears, they're just these big hulking animals. They eat fish and they eat deer and they eat all these animals and they eat people too. But, you know, they can't climb, they run, they sleep, they can swim, but they're not the same as a nice black bear. You know, a nice black bear is the best kind of bear. In my opinion, it's not even close. Okay. Now, I made an episode about bamboo and I talked about pandas. I guess pandas are technically bears, but like, come on. Come on. Yes, pandas are bears, but they're not bears. When you think of bears, you think of creatures that are able to survive without humans intervening every 10 minutes. Pandas would be extinct if it weren't for humans. That's not a very cool animal, in my opinion. An animal that needs its ass wiped is not a cool animal. You know, cool animals are able to live in the wild their entire lives without any kind of intervention and be fine. That's a cool animal. And black bears are that animal. You know, you get all of the benefits of being a bear and you get all the cool additions as well. The biggest one is climbing trees. I love bears that climb trees are cool. That's a cool ass like perk of being a black bear. Same with the berries. That's so cool to me. The fact that they're omnivores, if shit's going down, if there's not enough food, not enough animals, they can always turn to something else, an alternative. That is resilience, okay? I have no doubt in my mind that human beings would not be alive today if we were only one or the other. Meaning if human beings were only herbivores or only carnivores, we would probably not be as well off as we are now. Does that make sense? So you need that duality. Now, maybe grizzly bears are omnivores. I have no idea. But they're not necessarily known for that. When I think of a black bear, I mostly think of foraging. I don't think of hunting down and eating like whales on the beach, like beached whales. Because grizzly bears do that. That is a disgusting animal. They'll find a dead, bloated whale on the side of the beach and they'll like live in it for like a month. It's horrible. Can you imagine that stench? Yeah. But no, black bears, they are all good in my book. I love black bears. Black bears are one of my favorite animals. I think giraffe's my favorite. It goes like giraffe, gorillas, and orangutans. I'm like split on both. And then I would say like, yeah, black bears probably. Black bears. I love black bears. So this video is sponsored by black bears. So go check out, use my code Rants daily for 10% off your next black bear. That was a stupid joke. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, anyway, I appreciate you listening to this, and I will see you tomorrow.